Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. The Morning Edition by Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. The teenager responsible for the deadly shooting at Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now 16 years old, Colt Gray was sentenced after pleading guilty to the September 2024 attack that claimed the lives of two 14-year-old students and two teachers, while leaving 9 others injured. During sentencing, Barrow County Superior Court Judge Nicholas Prim acknowledged that imposing life without parole on a juvenile is uncommon because of the offender's age. However, the judge concluded that the attack had been carefully planned and that Gray showed little evidence of remorse, describing his actions as deliberate and finding no indication that he was troubled by what he had done. The case has also drawn attention to the shooter's father, Colin Gray, who was convicted earlier this year of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter for making firearms accessible to his son. Prosecutors said the teenager carried out the attack using an AR platform-style rifle. Colin Gray has not yet been sentenced and could face a maximum prison term of 180 years. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A Michigan man is facing a murder charge after investigators say he admitted to killing his wife inside the basement of their home. 65-year-old Rodney Olmsted was arrested following the death of his 58-year-old wife, Rosa Mercedes Olmsted, at their residence in Valley Township. According to investigators, deputies first conducted a welfare check after family members and coworkers reported they had not heard from or seen Rosa for several days. Neighbors also expressed concern, telling authorities that Rodney Olmsted had previously displayed aggressive behavior toward his wife. When deputies returned to the home the following day, they reported seeing signs of possible violence and forced entry into the residence. Officers found Rodney Olmsted injured inside the home and later discovered Rosa Olmsted deceased in the basement. Investigators allege Rodney Olmsted confessed to attacking his wife. An autopsy determined she had died at least one day before her body was discovered. After receiving medical treatment, Rodney Olmsted was arrested and charged with open murder, a charge under Michigan law that allows prosecutors to pursue varying degrees of homicide based on the evidence presented in court. He remains in the Allegan County Jail on a $500,000 cash bond. His next court appearance is scheduled for August 6. As with all criminal cases, the charge is an allegation, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A new documentary is renewing scrutiny of Boeing by alleging long-standing safety concerns involving aircraft manufacturing and quality control. The film, Freefall: A Reckoning for Boeing, is scheduled for release on August 19 and follows an earlier documentary examining the 2 fatal Boeing 737 MAX 8 crashes in 2018 and 2019 that claimed a combined 346 lives. In the documentary, several current and former Boeing employees allege that discarded aircraft components were reused during production and claim that workers who raised safety concerns faced retaliation. Some employees also state they would not personally fly on certain aircraft produced at the company's South Carolina facility. The film also revisits the January 2024 incident involving an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9, when a door plug separated from the aircraft during flight, forcing an emergency landing. Investigators later identified installation issues involving the door plug, and all passengers survived. The documentary highlights the late Boeing quality manager John Barnett, who publicly raised concerns about manufacturing practices before his death in 2024, as well as other employees who say they have continued reporting safety issues. In response to broader concerns surrounding past safety failures, Boeing reached an agreement with the United States Department of Justice earlier this year totaling $1.1 billion, including funding for fines, compensation for crash victims' families, and expanded safety and compliance programs. The allegations presented in the documentary represent the claims of those interviewed. Boeing had not publicly responded to the film's specific allegations at the time this report was prepared. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A revised proposal for what has been described as California's first large-scale tiny home development is generating renewed debate in San Diego's Pacific Beach community. The project, known as Calcifica, has been redesigned after facing legal challenges and public opposition. Developers reduced the proposal from 136 housing units to 125 units across 6 buildings, while increasing planned parking from 70 spaces to 126. The original proposal faced criticism because part of the site was associated with the Kumeyaay Nation, the indigenous people native to the San Diego region. In response, developers relocated portions of the project and revised the overall design. Last December, a judge issued a preliminary injunction that temporarily halted the original plan after nearby residents filed a lawsuit. Opponents argued the project could negatively affect the environment and public safety, including concerns about wildfire preparedness. The project's developer, Infill Innovation, says the revised design is intended to provide more attainable housing while addressing community concerns. Company leadership has stated it hopes to rebuild trust and work cooperatively with residents and city officials as the project moves forward. The proposal remains subject to legal proceedings and additional public review before construction can begin. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A tragic accident in Florida has claimed the life of Victoria Zardoya, a 20-year-old friend of Milania Giudice. According to accounts shared by those who were with her, Victoria suffered fatal injuries after falling while exploring the historic ruins of Fort Dade on Egmont Key, an island in Tampa Bay. Friends at the scene immediately called 911, climbed down in an effort to reach her, and used emergency flares to help first responders locate the remote area as quickly as possible. Victoria was airlifted to a hospital, where she later died from her injuries on July 26. A friend who witnessed the incident described it as a devastating accident and said everyone present acted without hesitation to try to save her. Milania Giudice has shared a series of emotional tributes on social media, remembering Victoria as her best friend and someone she considered a sister. Milania's father, Joe Giudice, also honored Victoria in a public message, saying she had become like family after growing up alongside his daughter. He reflected on the tragedy, expressing heartbreak that what began as a day of recreation ended with the loss of a young life. Officials have not indicated that foul play was involved, and the incident is being treated as a tragic accident. This is Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network. 4 teenagers were killed early Sunday morning after a high-speed crash sent their vehicle off a bridge and onto railroad tracks, where it collided with a stationary train car on Chicago's southwest side. According to police, officers initially responded to a report that someone inside a vehicle had allegedly pointed a firearm at another person. Authorities attempted a traffic stop, but the driver fled. Police say the pursuit was quickly terminated. A short time later, state police located the same vehicle and attempted another traffic stop. Investigators say the driver briefly stopped before accelerating away at a high rate of speed. Authorities say the vehicle left the roadway near South Cicero Avenue, went over a bridge, landed in a rail yard, and struck a train boxcar. 3 occupants were pronounced dead at the scene, while a 4th victim was transported to a nearby hospital in critical condition and later died. The victims were identified as Christopher Lopez Montan, age 19, Urim Garcia Pena, age 18, Yaritza Martinez Veleda, age 17, and Vanessa Morales, age 14. Family members said Vanessa had been preparing to attend her freshman orientation at high school the following day. Investigators reported no additional injuries, and the circumstances surrounding the incident remain under investigation. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. More than 12,000 pounds of bacon have been recalled after federal food safety officials identified an import inspection violation involving products shipped from Canada. According to the United States Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, approximately 12,036 pounds of bacon imported by Maple Leaf Foods were distributed without receiving the required import re-inspection before entering the United States. Officials emphasized that this recall was issued because of a regulatory compliance issue, not because of confirmed contamination. The recalled products were distributed to grocery outlet retailers and distributors in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. The affected products include Royale Natural Applewood Smoked All-Natural Uncured Bacon and Top Value Uncured Hardwood Smoked Bacon, both sold in 12-ounce vacuum-sealed packages with select September 2026 sell-by dates. Packages also display the establishment number EST1. Federal officials say there have been no confirmed reports of illness or injury linked to the recalled bacon. However, consumers who purchase the products are urged not to eat them. Instead, they should either dispose of the bacon or return it to the retailer for a full refund. The Food Safety and Inspection Service says additional distribution information will be released as it becomes available. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Former television star Susan Dey continues to enjoy a quiet life away from the Hollywood spotlight, more than 2 decades after stepping away from acting. Dey first rose to national fame at just 17 years old as Laurie Partridge on the hit television series The Partridge Family, despite having no previous acting experience. The show aired from 1970 through 1974, making her one of television's most recognizable young stars. She later successfully transitioned into dramatic acting, earning critical acclaim for her role as Grace Van Owen on L.A. Law. Her performance on the legal drama earned her a Golden Globe Award, and she remained with the series for 6 seasons before continuing to appear in television projects until her retirement from acting in 2004. Unlike many of her former castmates, Dey has largely declined opportunities to participate in reunion specials, choosing instead to maintain a private lifestyle. According to former co-star Danny Bonaduce, Dey settled in upstate New York with her husband, Bernard Safransky, preferring a life outside the entertainment industry. Today, Susan Dey serves on the board of the megaproject, a nonprofit organization dedicated to strengthening rural communities throughout New York's Catskills region, where she has expressed a deep appreciation for the area's people, history, and natural beauty. At 73 years old, Susan Dey remains an example of a successful entertainer who chose privacy and community service over continued celebrity. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Former professional race car driver Danica Patrick has made new allegations about her past relationship with National Football League quarterback Aaron Rodgers, describing it as emotionally abusive during a recent podcast interview. Patrick, who dated Rodgers for approximately 2 years before their relationship ended in 2020, said the breakup was the most painful experience of her life. She stated that the relationship left her emotionally drained and significantly affected her confidence and sense of self. Patrick said rebuilding her life after the relationship proved more difficult than the challenges she faced during her successful racing career, where she became the only woman to win an IndyCar Series race. Rodgers has not publicly responded to Patrick's latest comments. Because these statements have been made by Patrick, they remain her personal allegations and have not been addressed publicly by Rodgers. The renewed attention comes as Rodgers has recently made headlines for reportedly reconciling with members of his family after years of estrangement, a development that had been reported by several media outlets over the past year. As of this report, there has been no indication that Rodgers plans to comment on Patrick's claims.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos, and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.